It's a concept that I think will become a game changer and the new standard for education on the continent. It is these insights that was the inspiration back in 2014 for us to start thinking about pulling together a group of some of the best universities on the continent, operating at international educational standards, but now bringing them together through the exercise of collaborative intelligence to produce a differentiated educational product for tomorrow's generation. And so, as I conclude, it gives me great pleasure to introduce, at the cost of 3 years' labour, pulling together some organisations that have been around for 30-odd years, and at the expense of some $275 million US, the first Pan-African chain of universities.
We believe that Africa is a continent whose main wealth is its human and natural diversity. We believe in Africa's future and in its potential for human and economic development. At Honoris United Universities, we aim to support the aspirations of a new generation of leaders and professionals. Throughout Honoris, we are committed to achievement with the purpose of having the best prepared graduates able to succeed in a changing world. We believe that our generation of culturally agile faculty and graduates, full of innovative ideas, will help develop Africa and make it shine amidst the regional and global challenges of our planet. At Honoris United Universities, we foster problem-solving and critical thinking to contribute to building winning societies and economies. We seek to create and educate a community of creative and responsible leaders capable of leapfrogging obstacles to achieve economic growth and stability for their communities. We believe in full mobility, in enabling a mobile mindset, ready for regional and international employability and participation. We believe in collaborative intelligence. It is at the heart of our vision of higher education. It brings together the knowledge and practices of our diversity to educate a new generation of nation builders. With these values, the aspirations of impacting the futures of our students, their families, and their communities take root. Honoris, inventing a new academic model for a rising strong Africa. At Honoris United Universities, we educate for impact.
So I feel like I've just had another child or something. So welcome to the launch of Honoris United Universities. As we dreamed this dream and we went around the world, we went around Africa talking to some of the founders of their own institutions that have been doing this for 30 years, we found an immediate resonance with some of these founders. And it was just such a privilege to bring these people together. And you'll have the opportunity to meet some of them now. But as we at Axis thought about this, we had to bring in a management team to sit above these organizations to bring life to the dream of Honoris United Universities. And so we looked around the world for a chief executive that we thought could do the job with panache. And our eyes settled upon a gentleman who had done this in many other countries, particularly in Latin America, where he was based in Mexico and in Brazil, and who was running Europe, Asia, and the Middle East for one of the world's biggest education groups. His name was Lopez, and we were lucky enough to secure him as the first chief executive of Honoris United Universities. So let me hand over, if I may, to Luis.
Thank you. I'll go through these very quickly. Good morning. I have about 10 minutes to introduce you to the institutions, and that's what I pretend to do. This section is meant to introduce who we are. And I would love for you to think about us, not from what you see here, but what from the students that you're going to meet downstairs. We have a booth, we have a section set up downstairs where we have some students that have joined us today. The most important or the most articulate way of learning about us is through the students. We're going to take a moment to introduce the institutions, to introduce the founders, but I would encourage you to take the time and therefore give me just the 10 minutes that I have to introduce the project. You see the founding members of the institutions, part of the network that Rick alluded to. With us today, Arslan Cheria Ben Turkia from Tunisia. From Morocco, we don't have Lofty and his partners, and Dr. Kamal and his partners are not here today. We'll go through these institutions. We have the president of Diapolis today, Dr. Amin Ben Saad. He will join us on the panel, and we have Professor Youssef from South Africa today here as well. From Tunisia, and you see the dates here, 2014, 16, 17, and 17. Today we're announcing MC in South Africa in our press release. Morocco was done in 2016 with Mondiapolis. The institutions that we have in Tunisia today are the Central Group, MSET, and the Art Academy in Carthage. Central, as you see here, and you can read just fine, so I'm not going to go through all of them, very strong in Tunisia. In 2001, it was established. It is ranked #1 in the country. It has a strong health science school, the 64 practice labs, and over 4,500 students. We have 10 sites in the city center and in the process of creating a master plan for real estate there. You will meet the CEO as well, as she's with us. I would encourage you to speak to one of us openly about the schools. MSET was the first in Tunisia in technical vocational education, established in 1993. It is multidisciplinary, 1,800 students, since we have 4 campuses, including outside of Tunis. The Arts Academy, vocational training as well in 2008. We do have the partnership with the Film Festival, 400 students, and we have the presence in Tunis. Again, you will have more on each one of these downstairs, and you will be able to speak to the students and get more from them. In Morocco, and before I forget, if Sisla can join us up on stage so we can start getting ourselves assembled. In Morocco, we have Mondiapolis. It is a multidisciplinary university located in Casablanca. It started in 2009 as a multidisciplinary campus. It was a merger of 3 schools from that spot. What I love about this university is what you see right here, the employability program. Speaking about what employability can be very conceptual. What the leaders at this institution have done is put it into the curricular map, put it into the way the faculty think about the student outcome. And in addition, they've also done a good job on the internationality, so that 1 out of 4 have evidence, which means they've either gone abroad or they've had the experience on campus. And we have 2 campuses, one on the outskirts of the city near the airport and one in downtown. Today we announced MC. It's the leading engineering school in the country and the largest private institution in Morocco, established in 1986, and an absolute gem, and over 10,000 alum. They have some special characteristics about them. They are in the 3 cities in Morocco, and really it's hard to look at a slide and not have pride, but it's more important if at any point in time you're able to visit the universities. MC, when you visit this campus that is pictured over here, on the basement of this facility are 30 labs, incredibly well equipped, incredibly well managed, and you see the students. And when you see the students, there's a culture of performance that is evident when you walk to most of these campuses, and that's what you want to see. That's what you want to feel. South Africa, Amin, if you can join us, please. South Africa, we have Mankosa, established in 1995, 36 degree programs, higher education programs, including diplomas. You see the schools here, 10,000 alum, and they have centers in Durban, Johannesburg, Cape Town, and the rest of the SADC countries. And its sister institution, Regent, in business education, 1998. We have the centers, we have the 5,000, and we also have a good presence throughout the south of the continent. Amazing institutions. They fulfill an incredible role using distance learning in a very high quality way. And when we get downstairs, you'll be able to hear from the students that have joined us. Yusuf, if you can join us, please. What is our mission? I think as we think about who the network is, through the members, institutions, through the founders, the most important thing here is how we think about what the mission is, to prepare and to educate. That's what the founders started with. That's what the founders contributed to. The resonance that Rick alluded to starts there, to prepare and to educate. And we want to do it with leaders and professionals in the next generation, and we want to do it in the world's youngest and fastest growing continent. To me, when you hear the end of the video, we talk about educate for impact. That's the last piece of the mission, to understand the impactful nature of education and how we're going to contribute to that, how we're going to honor that for the students and for the communities. In terms of how to think about our students, you see over here the multicultural academic experience and Pan-African professional immersion. That's what Rick was alluding to in terms of a skill set, the region, the demand from the employers, and I think that's going to make a big difference in the students when they get ready to enter the labor market. We want them to be competitive. There's a confidence, there's a formal training, but there's an ability to participate and say, I belong here. And that's always done from the outside looking in. That's a very important thing to acknowledge when you are a student. When you happen to be in a suit and you're on the other side of a hiring, the mentality is a little different. And so we want the students to have the confidence that comes with this academic experience and this immersion. Our values, collaborative intelligence, Rick has mentioned this, academic excellence. We want our environments to have, the learning environments to be earnest. We want a mobile mindset. You saw that in the video. That goes into the internationality aspect, that goes into the ability of thinking about jobs regionally, not just locally. Cultural agility explains itself. And the agility piece, for me, is what's going to differentiate us. When you think about collaborative intelligence, you're talking about the differences and the knowledges and the expertise of institutions in the North and the South. How do you put that together? When you think about mobility, you're thinking about not just where you are, but where you could be. And when you think about agility, you have to address the shifting skills that are going to come. When I look at students today versus students 20 years ago, you have to have the ability institutionally, with the faculty, with the administration, to be able to shift to just-in-time skills, to be able to shift to the ability to consume in a digital way or in a distance learning way. And that's why I think the South Africa experience is going to be very good for us. And then in the student experience, we have kind of three parameters. We want the administrative component to be very professional. We want the academic component to be very ambitious. And we want the actual life to be enriching. So the events, the activities, the exchanges to contribute to the personal development. And that's what we are today in Figures. We think of ourselves as the first Pan-African private higher education, and we are. We have 48 campuses, learning centers, urban and residential, 9 countries, 30 cities, 27,000 students, 55,000 alumni, and over 100 degrees in these areas, these verticals, the health science, engineering, business, law, architecture. And so we can get the panel started. And you'll introduce. Yes. Okay. Yeah. I'm already skipping, Laura. Sorry. Some testimonials that we're going to see. Yes.